Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Hey Michael, I actually think biking to work could be a solid move for you. But I would not jump into it all at once. First off, try the route on a quiet weekend morning before you do it on a workday. That way, you can figure out which streets feel safe, where the bike lanes disappear, and how long the ride really takes when you are not rushed. If one road feels too stressful, even adding 5 extra minutes for a calmer side street is worth it. For gear, keep it simple at the start. You need a comfortable helmet, bright lights for the front and back, and a good lock. I would also get a light rain jacket and a small waterproof bag. Because spring weather here can change fast, you do not need the fanciest bike clothes right away. If you buy too much at the beginning, it can feel like a huge project instead of a normal commute. Before buying a new bike, I would also take your current one to a local shop for a quick tune-up. Ask them to check the brakes, chain, tires, and seat height. A small fix can make the ride feel smoother and safer. And it is cheaper than replacing everything right away. Another thing is to start with 2 days a week. Not every day. Maybe bike on Tuesdays and Thursdays when your schedule is lighter. On the other days, keep taking transit or driving, so you do not feel stuck if you are tired or the weather is rough. You could also leave a clean shirt and deodorant at work, just so you feel fresh when you arrive. And honestly, I would ask one experienced cyclist at the office to ride with you the first time. Having someone point out tricky intersections can make a big difference. After a few weeks, you will probably feel much more relaxed. Hope that helps. And if you want, I can help you map out a safer route tonight. Last winter, I had to help with a community code drive at the last minute. And it turned into a really worthwhile day. I had planned to spend Saturday catching up on errands. But on Friday night my friend Priya called and said 2 volunteers had cancelled. She sounded stressed because the event was supposed to open the next morning at the neighborhood center. When I arrived, people were already lining up outside, and the volunteers were still unpacking bags of jackets, boots, and scarves. I was honestly a bit panicked at first because nobody had given me a clear job. After a few minutes, I jumped into sorting coats by size and helping visitors find what they needed. One older man was looking for a warm jacket for a new job, and we found one that fit him perfectly. He looked so relieved that it really stayed with me. By noon, the room was busy but running smoothly. I had been moving boxes, answering questions, and refilling the coffee table for almost 4 hours. So I was tired, but in a good way. A few other volunteers had also arrived by then, which helped the line move faster. What made it memorable was how quickly strangers worked together. Nobody cared who got credit. People just pitched in. I went home with sore arms, but I felt delighted that a messy morning had turned into something useful for the whole community. I can see a busy community center lobby that looks like it is hosting a winter clothing swap. On the left side, there is a volunteer in a green hoodie sorting coats on a long table. And beside her there is an open cardboard box full of scarves. It looks like she is trying to keep everything organized because more donations are probably coming. In the center of the scene, a man is kneeling down and tying a small child's boot. Several donation bags are piled near their feet, so they may have just arrived or they may be getting ready to leave with some warm clothes. To the right, a woman is sitting at a registration table and checking names on a tablet. Behind a blue rope, a line of visitors is waiting, and they seem patient but eager to get inside. Just behind that area, 2 teenagers are carrying a heavy bin labeled mittens and hats. In the background, I can see snow through the glass doors, which explains why the clothing swap is probably so busy. There is also a yellow wet floor sign near the entrance, plus posters offering free coffee and bus tickets. Those little details make the event feel well planned, not just crowded. What stands out is that the place feels crowded but friendly. Everyone seems focused on helping people stay warm and comfortable during cold weather. Based on what I can see, I think the clothing swap is about to get even busier. The volunteer on the left is still sorting coats, so my guess is that she will soon call over another helper or move some jackets onto a clearer part of the table. If more visitors come through the snowy entrance, that coat area could fill up quickly. In the center, the man tying the child's boot will probably finish in a few seconds and then help the child stand up. Since there are donation bags near their feet, they may either pick out a few more warm items or head toward the exit once the child is ready. The registration table on the right also looks active. The woman with the tablet will likely check in the next person in line, and the blue rope will keep everyone moving in order. The two teenagers carrying the bin of mittens and hats are probably going to place it near the coat table. Once they set it down, visitors may start looking through it right away, especially because it is snowy outside. I also think someone may need to mop near the doors, since the wet floor sign suggests people have been tracking in slush. Over the next few minutes, the free coffee table and bus ticket posters will probably draw attention too, because people waiting in line may ask about both. Hey Jordan, I get why axe throwing sounds like a fun change of pace, but I really think the guided lunch walks are the better fit for our team. The biggest win here is that almost everyone can take part without rearranging their whole day. It happens during lunch. It is close to the office, and at $8 per person, it keeps us well within the monthly budget. The catch with the axe throwing night is that it asks a lot from people. It is in the evening. It is far from transit, and it costs more than 5 times as much. Some people have classes, caregiving duties, or long commutes after work, so an evening activity could quietly leave them out. On top of that, the waiver might make a few people uncomfortable, especially if they are not into competitive or physical activities. The lunch walks are simpler and more inclusive. People can chat, get fresh air, and step away from their desks without feeling pressured to perform. If the weather is rough, the indoor backup route means we still have a plan, which is a real plus in our city. I am not saying axe throwing is a bad idea forever. Maybe we can save it for a one-off social night when people opt in. For a monthly wellness activity, though, the walks are cheaper, easier to attend, and much more practical. I would go with the option that helps the most people join consistently. Hey Jordan, I see the appeal of axe throwing because it is different and memorable, but I would still choose the on-site stretch class. For a wellness activity, it does a better job of matching what people actually need during a workday. Most of us sit for hours, so a beginner-friendly class could help with stiff backs, tight shoulders, and general stress. What tips it for me is the convenience. The instructor comes to our office. We can use the conference room, and nobody has to travel across town after work. That matters because the axe throwing place is far from transit and only available in the evening. A few people might enjoy it, but others may skip it because they are tired, have plans, or just do not feel comfortable throwing axes. The stretch class is also easier to explain as a staff wellness expense. It is $12 per person, which is still reasonable, and it gives people something useful they can repeat at their desks later. The axe throwing night costs $45 per person, and the waiver makes it feel more like a risky social outing than a calm wellness program. I would frame the stretch class as the choice that removes barriers. It is simple, safe, and accessible for different fitness levels. We can always plan a more adventurous evening later. But for the monthly program, I think the on-site class is the stronger and fairer option. Hi Lena, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you about Friday lunch. And I want to be upfront because I know I promised to cover reception for your appointment. This morning Mark asked me to join an urgent client prep meeting at the exact same time. And it sounds like he needs me there because I handled part of the file last week. I am sorry for putting you in a tough spot. I know your appointment matters. And I do not want you to feel like I am backing out casually. I should have checked my calendar with Mark before saying yes. But I did not expect this meeting to land at the same time. What I can do is help find another solution right away. I can ask Nisha whether she can cover the desk for the first half hour. And I can take over as soon as the client meeting wraps up. If that does not work, I can also swap one of my later breaks with someone or help you talk to Mark about getting temporary coverage. I still want you to make your appointment. I just do not want reception to be left uncovered or the client prep to fall apart. Let me make a couple of calls now. And I will keep you updated within the next 10 minutes so you are not stuck wondering what is happening. Hi Mark, can I quickly explain a scheduling issue before Friday's client prep meeting is locked in? I understand the meeting is urgent. And I know it would be helpful for me to be there because I worked on part of the file last week. At the same time, I already promised Lena that I would cover the reception desk during lunch so she could attend an appointment. I do not want to leave the team short on the client side. But I also do not think it is fair to cancel on Lena at the last minute when she arranged her appointment around that coverage. Reception cannot be empty. And she was counting on me. Could we look at a practical workaround? I can send you my notes before the meeting, especially the client questions and the pricing details I gathered. I can also join for the first 10 minutes by phone if that helps. Then step out to cover reception. Another option is that I meet with you right after lunch and walk through anything the group still needs from me. If you feel I absolutely must attend the full meeting, then I can help find another person to cover the desk. But I wanted to be transparent first. My goal is to support the client prep without breaking a commitment that affects Lena and the front desk. I do think Canadian cities should make public transit free during severe winter storms, especially when officials are already asking people to stay off the roads. The main reason is safety. When snow, ice, and poor visibility hit at the same time, many drivers are not comfortable, but they still feel they have no choice because they need to get to work, school, or medical appointments. If buses, trains, and light rail are free during declared storms, some people will leave their cars at home, and that can mean fewer crashes, fewer stuck vehicles, and less pressure on emergency crews. Another big reason is fairness. Not everyone can work from home during bad weather. Grocery clerks, cleaners, warehouse staff, healthcare aides, and many shift workers still have to show up. Charging fares during a storm may not sound like a big deal to some people. But for someone taking 2 or 3 buses, every dollar matters. Free transit for a short emergency period would be a practical way to support the workers who keep the city running. There is also an environmental benefit. Winter storms often create heavy traffic because people drive slowly, idle longer, and get stuck in bottlenecks. If more riders use transit, even for 1 or 2 days, the city can reduce some of that congestion. It also sends a clear message that public transit is part of the emergency response system, not just a regular paid service. That message can build trust with riders over time. I get why some people worry about the cost. Transit agencies already have tight budgets, and free rides are not actually free to operate. Still, this policy would only apply during severe, officially declared storms. Not every snowy morning. The city could treat it like snow clearing or emergency shelters, a short-term public safety expense. At the end of the day, If free transit helps people travel safely and keeps roads clearer during dangerous weather, I think it is a worthwhile choice. Hey Aisha, it is me. You seriously will not believe what I am looking at right now in this secondhand decor store. There is a floor lamp here that looks like someone mixed a rainstorm, an aquarium, and a curling club trophy into one object. The main pole is made from 4 transparent yellow rain boots stacked heel to toe. Each boot is sealed and filled with bright blue liquid, and there are tiny silver mechanical fish circling around inside. One of the fish near the top is stuck upside down, which makes the whole thing even stranger. It is not subtle at all. It looks like a science project that escaped into a furniture shop. The lampshade is an upside-down red umbrella. Around every edge, there are plastic icicles hanging down, and in the middle there is an orange bulb that glows like a tiny campfire. The base might be the weirdest part, though. It is a cracked curling stone, but someone has attached small shopping cart wheels underneath it, so the lamp looks like it could roll away if you bumped it. There is also a toy canoe tied to the power cord, which I cannot explain, but it somehow fits the madness of the piece. I know you collect odd art, and this is definitely a conversation starter. Should I ask the store to hold it for you? Or is this too bizarre even for your apartment?